So on this first section, what I did for the planet was lay down all the colors that you want to see in this planet, which this is planet Vegeta, so I lay down red as a base. And then go heavy on the berry pink, or just any pink. And then add in splashes of a lighter pink or like a white if you want. Just pretty much crinkle up this newspaper. What I like to do is open it back up so that you have all those nice little ridges and things. And just put it down, not too hard though, otherwise it's going to stick. And just kind of run your fingers through it and it gives this nice planety texture. After that, I wanted it to dry fast, so I could put down this cup to make the planet. And you can use anything that you want. Anything circular, or not even if you want. If you want to use, I don't know, an old book to make a rectangle planet, go for it. But yeah, so since I wanted it to dry fast, what I did is take a spray can and a lighter and just be really, really careful about this. Light your lighter, make sure that the spray can is aimed toward the top of the flame so you get as far away as your hand as possible, and spray it above it like an inch or two, because you don't want to spray it directly on the paper, because you know what happens to paper when fire touches it, especially with a flammable substance on top of it. But anyways, I took my Wendy's cup that I just drank from and use that as kind of a stencil for the planet. And then just spray black around it. So just cover everything that you know for sure will be part of the stencil. I did that little mist of pink just to kind of give me an idea of what I was going to do later, because I knew I was going to paint over that when I painted Vegeta. Since that's done, now we can start doing the stencil. I started with a dark blue, and I could have done another layer of blue, but I kind of wanted that to be black to kind of have a better like contrast. The color that I used, you can't see this because it's caked in paint, is brilliant blue. So if you want to do this exact painting, grab this color. Otherwise, whatever blue you feel like will work. You can do orange if you want. Put Vegeta in an orange like jumpsuit. That's cool. This next layer is his skin, obviously, and then I added the yellow in because there's not much yellow in the painting, and it's kind of far away from the the skin tone. And also, I don't really suggest mixing brands and things like that, but for the yellow, I just happened to have it, and I just ran out of the Rust-Oleum, so what I used was Montana Hardcore Giant Yellow. And that first color you saw me spray, that was just straight up metallic gold from Rust-Oleum. I didn't really like it, so that's why I painted over it with this yellow. So what I used here was an ivory. It's kind of like that. It's close to white, but not exactly white, because white kind of makes it look too fake sometimes. And like the littlest mistakes that you do like are completely fixable, so just because you don't like something, don't think that that's it, because I screw up every single time. I just am really good at disguising that, because you just kind of got to be flowy with it, you know? Sound like Bob Ross right there. Jesus Christ. The next colors I used, which they were spaced out enough so that I could use more than one color on a layer, just because it benefits you so much more than using a whole another sheet or stencil. Which, by the way, I use 2 stencils per sheet, because Vegeta takes up about half of the painting, so there's plenty of space to do the rest of the stencil on these 22 by 28 inch sheets, which is bent to hell and back. But the colors I used for this were khaki and seaside blue. Most of these you can pick up at a Menards or Walmart or whatever, so. Then after that, for the hair, I used a smoke gray, which, if you want to use like these exact stencils and make like Super Saiyan Blue or Super Saiyan God or something like that, you can just use the exact same hair layers. Because this, I used the gray in Vegeta's armor, since it's the same gray. But what you can do is you can either block all of this off somehow, or make a whole new stencil where the hair's there, and then also the eyebrows and the eyes, since, you know, all that stuff changes when you go Saiyan. And I'll go through that in different tutorials to kind of show you how you can use one stencil to do multiple designs. I used the black here. It's just straight Rust-Oleum black, just because I feel like if I would have used it in a different layer, it kind of would have been pointless to have a stencil this small for something this big. So you just black off what you can and spray the black. After that, this one's pretty simple. It's just white, just standard Rust-Oleum white. For the black, I use Valspar. I do not suggest it because it's $2 more than a can of black, and it's about that size compared, so it's kind of pointless. It's also extremely hard to press. Like, I could barely even press it at first, and I don't know, it's stupid. If you watch my Angry Paintings #1 Spider-Man, you can see my struggle with that. And for the white, I used this Rust-Oleum white. It's the exact same price as a Rust-Oleum in this size. It's just that this is kind of a more commonly used color, so they give you a free 25%, which is really cool because I use it all the time. And the last layer is just the outside, cover him up, so that way I can just do whatever I want to the background. And make sure you cover the planet back up if you uncovered it. I only did because my stencils are so large that it would kind of knock over the cup. And for these stars, I'm probably going to explain this in the future, and I already have in the past, but all it is spray painting onto your finger, which is best if you have a glove, or a piece of cardboard or paper or something like that. Just like spray it on there, don't glab it too much, do a little test flick to the side, and then if it's not too thick, just go crazy with it, you know. For space backgrounds, what I like to do is kind of mist each color, not very close to each other, as you can see. The blue is kind of spaced out, and then in between those blues I did a pink because there's plenty of space, and I think 2 colors in the sky is just awesome, and I just love using pink. And since Planet Vegeta's there, the pink made sense to me, so it's not like I was just doing it because I wanted to, entirely anyways. And what I wanted for Vegeta was, I wanted movement lines because, you know, he's flying through space pretty fast too. So what I did there was kind of round it around where the edge of his knee was, because that kind of establishes that he's moving forward. In the back I couldn't go as thick because, you know, in comics and things like that, if you're moving, the space that's farther away from you kind of thins out. So what I did was take this old sheet of cardboard and kind of shape it around it, kind of like that, to get the exact streak that I wanted. I usually do 3 sprays on the left, 3 sprays on the right, and sometimes you can do more than that. If you were to go sand, I would have done yellow first and then white inside of it, which I'll show at some point in the future. For the planet, I like to put I usually put a little white glow on it like this, and don't spray it directly at your canvas or poster board. Spray it a little bit up on the cup and gives a nice little glow. But for Planet Vegeta, it kind of has more of a pink glow, so what I did was pink and did the exact same thing. So if you followed these instructions, if you could, and you painted Vegeta, it should turn out kind of like this, or something like that.